Fringe Radio, your trusted source for the paranormal, conspiracy theory, and true crime.
You are now listening to Dark Fringe Radio with your hosts, Will Martinez and Jay Gallowsy.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Dark Fringe Radio. I am your host, Will Martinez, and my co-host, Jay Gallowsy. What is going on, brother? How are we doing this week?
We are living La Vida Loca, my guy. How are we doing?
Good, man. You like that new intro that we got there, man?
I gotta be honest, I couldn't hear it.
Oh, you couldn't hear it. God dang. Well, you'll hear it when we
I'll hear it when I listen back, because I'm a narcissist, so I listen back to all our episodes.
That's right. No, listen. And we thank you guys for doing the same thing, listening to our podcast. That's the whole point of this whole thing. Thank you so much for joining us on Dark Fringe Radio, your number one spot for the paranormal, conspiracy theory, and true crime. We have a great episode for you guys tonight. We're going to be talking about the Hollywood cloning conspiracy, and we'll get into all that here in a little bit, but we got to do a couple other things first. Jay, want to talk about how you can listen to the podcast. Where is the best source? Where can we find all this information? Where can we hear all this good stuff? Jay, tell them.
Well, of course, as the Dark Fringe takeover is continuing to grow, 20K and strong on Facebook.
Hell yeah.
You know, you can find us where you find all popular podcasts: iTunes, Spotter, Stitcher, Spotify. I think I said Spotter when I meant Spotify. Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcast. You can find us everywhere, including and best place to get all of our content, merchandise, contact us, anything. You want to go directly to thedarkfringeradio.com. That is where you can get directly to us. You can get our content any way you like it.
Tell him, Jay. Tell him, Jay. Tell him. Yo, we're coming right through everyone, man. We're coming through the neighborhoods all across the United States. We're talking about paranormal, conspiracy theory, true crime. We're here to bring it to you guys. We have a lot of special guests that are coming up here in the future here, Jay. So we're not going to announce them yet, but once we record these episodes, this could be really interesting. And we look forward to it. And we look forward to bringing you this content. That's the cool stuff about this, when, we are able to like contact somebody that's, has a really cool story and it pertains to what we talk about here. And we get them on here and we talk about it. And it's a really cool experience to bring that to everybody out there as well.
Yeah. We love doing this. We love bringing you as much content as we can. We love having these conversations. We've met some pretty cool people. We've got some pretty cool things we're going to go do. We've got some on-site stuff that I'm being forced to entertain. We've got some stuff. We're going to have some great times.
Yes,
coming
absolutely.
up, friends. Stay tuned.
Absolutely. Well, Jay, let's get this started. We're going to jump right in to Dark Fringe News. You ready to do that?
Absolutely.
It's so racist. That's so bad.
Racist.
Oh my God. Well, Jay, this week we have a couple things we want to talk about on Dark Fringe News. First thing I want to bring up is one of your worst fears here, Jay, besides talking about Nightmare on Elm Street. But North Korea scrambles fighter jets to take out U.S. spy plane in World War III threat. Did you hear about this, Jay?
That's not one of my biggest threats. No.
No.
What's more interesting is that Korea and Russia keep sending over their jets and their bombers over Alaska.
Yeah.
I find that to be way more concerning.
Yeah, that's it. It's really interesting. But the Pyongyang military developed fighter jets to scramble a U.S. spy plane after it intruded the North Koreans' economic zone in a major escalation, according to the state media report, Jay. North Korea blasted Thursday's incident as a dangerous military provocation and warned that it's mulling over measures to fend off future incursions. An unnamed spokesperson from the General Staff of the Korean People's Army said in a KCNA report on Friday. It comes as President Joe Biden hosts a key summit at Camp David on Friday with South Korean and Japanese representatives. South Korean President Yoon Suk Yule and Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida will attend the summit in Maryland. And it comes as North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un continues to ramp up his nuclear threats, Jay. And Yoon Sang-bum, a South Korean military police officer, warned earlier this week that North Korea could take military action and even launch an intercontinental ballistic missile in protest at Friday's summit. North Korea recently announced that a new alarming development in its ballistic missile program. Pyongyang launched its powerful Hwasong 18 missile twice in recent months, in the major threat to its regional adversaries and the West. Meanwhile, South Korea and the U.S. are set to start an 11-day period of joint military drills on Monday as North Korean aggression looms large. Now, the U.S. is scrambling to help its allies, South Korea and Japan, achieve peace and stability within the region. So, Jay, what's going on, man? I mean, I know we talked about the Alaska stuff, but, we're going into their airspace. They're shooting at us now. Is it one of those kind of like, here's something going on over here, and you don't want to see what's going on over there?
It's two countries just swinging some dicks still at this minute.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, that part doesn't honestly worry.
Okay,
it really doesn't.
Okay.
We kind of continue to fly spy planes where we shouldn't be flying spy planes. Right? That's why they're called spy planes.
Spy planes.
Right? And we would be silly to think that they aren't doing kind of the same things.
Right.
That's that being said, they kind of caught us with their pants down, and Uncle Joe probably should just be a little more careful when he's trying to get his midnight snacks out. Okay? Yeah, we got caught with our pants down. We should just back off a little bit and be like, okay, all right. Our bad. There's been some crazy shit lately. We're just trying to make sure that we're all understanding that we all only have so much planet we live on, and if we blow half of it up, that only leaves half of it to live on.
I get that, Jay, and I'm totally with you on that deal, and I'm on that plan. But at the same time, how many years are we going to let this go by with this guy in power and just like crippling this, this community, this government, this whole, base of people that are just, under his dictatorship, rulership, and just communistic rulership? What do we do? I mean, do we just let him just sit there forever?
Well, the big question we actually have to ask ourselves again in this instance,
right?
When did we become the international police? Why are we going around just because one
That's my number one.
You carry a heavy, you speak softly and carry a big stick, and that's great for intimidation purposes and to prove that we can protect ours and our land and our coastlines and this, our values and ways of life, our liberties and freedoms and things of that nature. I'm not so sure why we got to go stirring that pot.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
There's a United Nations for a reason. The United Nations should kind of be overseeing this, and clearly he's not the type. It's just like talking about gun control, right?
Right.
Criminals don't care if they have guns illegally. Ergo, they're criminals.
Right. But then again, go ahead, Jay.
This guy's not reasonable. So us saying, yes, we also have nuclear weapons, and yes, you push a button, we push a button. Not everybody dies, and I'm not sure what good that is for everybody and anybody.
That's what I'm saying.
For some reason, we poke our nose a lot in places that doesn't necessarily belong. And I think in this case, we kind of need to do like we did when we got caught with the U-2 plane in Russia. We need to take a little step back.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, it's a great comparison as to what has happened in the past. But, Jay, it's just, it seems like this issue is being escalated more and more recently. I would say within the last 3 to 6 months, what's been going on there. A lot of the media has been obviously focused on what's going on here and the former president and all that shit. But, again, that's what the media does. They just go to the hottest story that's going on right now. They don't really talk about, what's going on maybe across there that could be a threat. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, do you remember last week when we found out that apparently there are people in the media that think that have met aliens?
Yeah, right. Yeah, nobody said nothing about that.
Ago.
Yeah,
that was our last episode.
Oh, please, yeah.
Since
this
then,
last week,
our ex-president has now been indicted on like 90 some odd charges. A quarter of Hawaii has burned
down. Yeah,
there are hundreds of new species being discovered swimming up from the depths of the ocean. I wonder why that's happening. We have storms hitting in places that they haven't hit. We have record-breaking highs of heat. We have
San Diego's getting a hurricane, by the way, Jay. Yeah.
So,
right.
My point.
All right.
Yes, he's got some big-ass missiles, and he could blow us up at any point. And yes, we got caught with our pants down. And yes, that is all very scary shit. That being said, today, this particular Friday, it's not the biggest concern I got.
No, I got you. I hear you, brother. I hear you loud and clear.
Which is sad.
I know that is sad, right? We really look at it in the scope of things. You're like, holy shit, is that where we're at now? Like, is that the bottom of the barrel, Jay? No. Is that where we're just fishing around?
I can't imagine it getting worse.
I don't know what's going on, man. It's really crazy, man. But that's what's going on right now between us, North Korea, South Korea, Japan. Let's see what happens with this trilateral coalition, and we'll see where we'll go from there. But all right, that's one story I want to talk about, Jay. But the next one is a little bit off the political side and the real world stuff. But Olivia Newton-John's family explains the supernatural ways that she has stayed in contact with them after death. This is an interesting article. This is something that I picked up. Obviously everybody knows Olivia Newton-John from her her role in
Get Physical.
But
I want to get physical. Let's get physical.
Yeah. I remember the video. Remember the video, Jay?
Of course I remember the video, William.
Yeah, but of course,
time in our lives.
Of course. But she was also known, of course, as her role in Sandy in Grease in 1978. Sandy. And news of her death quickly spread worldwide as fans everywhere shared in their mourning for the late icon when she passed away last year, Jay, in 2022, after battling breast cancer. And her passing was announced on Instagram by her second husband, Mr. John Easterling. In the emotional post he wrote, Dame Olivia Newton-John, 73, passed away peacefully at her ranch in Southern California this morning, surrounded by her family and friends. We ask that everyone please respect the family's privacy during this time. Thank you. And then he continued by adding, Olivia was a symbol of triumphs and hope for over 30 years, sharing her journey with breast cancer. Her healing inspiration and pioneering experience with plant medicine continues with Olivia Newton-John Foundation Fund, dedicated to researching plant medicine and cancer. Despite her physical death, her presence is still felt, Jay, here on Earth, especially by her loved ones. So there's a couple examples of this. She was also visited her daughter. Well, she visited her daughter as she promised. It's actually something that she kind of foretold her. When she was still alive, Newton-John and her daughter Chloe used to spend time watching television together. Of course, like any mother daughter would, or father son. They were particularly fond of paranormal activity shows, which became the link between Newton-John's spirit and her daughter. Mom and I, as she said, talked years back, and we'd watch these paranormal shows, and I'd say, you got to show up for me. And she was like, I'll show up as one of those orb things, she said. And it seems that Newton-John kept her promise to her daughter and has reached out to her in a supernatural way following her death. She shared that 2 weeks later after her death, that on her phone, she accidentally took a picture of her dog, and there floating by his head was a little blue orb, the same color as basically is what she would describe in the shows that they would watch together. So it's pretty interesting, Jay, how these individuals still come back and are able to, talk to us and communicate with us, huh?
Well, we know how I feel about that.
Oh, I know. That's why I brought it up.
I've had some personal experience with it. I was thinking about it the other day. How incredible it can be when you have those moments, and they are so intimate, because they really are for you, and they really are. It's an indescribable moment. I remember actually not long after my dad passed. For some reason, for me, I tend to. Wow, it might sound weird, but it is what it is. I tend to have a lot of contact with those who passed in my family when I dream. And I don't dream much, so when I dream, it's usually that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And I remember not long after my dad passed, before he passed, he tried to set everything up so nobody really had to worry about anything. That was always kind of his way. But there are still always T's that have to be crossed and I's that have to be dotted, and there was nobody left to do it but me. And I remember I was having this dream where I was at a gym I ran, and I was running a birthday party, which were always hectic and always very fast paced, but they were my favorite thing to do because I was always so great at it, humbly speaking. So, but I remember having this dream, and I was at work, and I couldn't get the cake cut fast enough. My dad had been sitting like in the corner with his fiance at the time, and it was my dad who had COPD right before he died, so he had the little oxygen cannula in his nose, and a very small, frail version of who he was my entire life. And I remember just being overwhelmed with this since I couldn't get it done fast. I was running in quicksand. And I remember apologizing to my dad in front of me, the little frail guy with the things in his nose. And as I turned, I hit this brick wall. And I was embraced by what I know was my dad's hug, because there's nobody hugged like my dad. And I could smell him. And he was just telling me that everything was going to be all right. And I was doing fine. I didn't need to put so much pressure on myself. And I've had a lot of moments like that where my dad has clearly made his presence. I mean, we had a reading and my dad made his presence known.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I hear stories like this, and I get touched very personally by it, because it's a beautiful thing when someone can experience it, and when somebody who can be open to experiencing it can experience it. There are a lot of people who wish they could experience it, but they're just too skeptical, and it means that they, I understand the skepticism. A lot of times I'm on here as the skeptic.
A lot of times, yeah. That's actually one of my favorite things, though. Like when I I know that there's yeah, it is. And I know it sounds weird, but it is, because it's like you take somebody who completely, doesn't, subscribe to any of that kind of stuff, and then you take them somewhere and they're like, okay, they're going to experience something, they're going to feel something. They do, and they change their mind about things. You know what I mean? And
this
it's
is why
really
he keeps dragging me out to meet ghosts. Everyone. This is why.
No,
for some reason he wants to see me see a ghost. I don't know why. That's what he wants.
It's not that, Jay. It really isn't. Listen. We do this for of course, for the people that we do this for, and we love bringing content. And
Absolutely.
of course, we do things we are sometimes not comfortable with doing, you know what I mean? And that's what we do. You know what I mean? Listen, I'm not comfortable doing half the shit we do either. I'm able to hide it a lot better than you know what I mean? But at least I go into it and I feel that I have more control over it. You know what I mean? And we do it for, you guys, and, we do it for content, but we also do it because we really are intrigued about these things that are happening. You know what I mean? And it's, every day, we have people in our lives that do pass, and there are things that sometimes, we get signs, and sometimes we don't realize what they are until maybe sometimes after. Sometimes you retroactively look back and you're like, oh, that's why this happened, or that's why I thought that, or that's why I smelled that particular scent when I walked by, such and such place. So, again, these things come into our lives and we just don't really talk about it sometimes. And, we keep it inside ourselves. And, again, I think that's something that we should talk about, because it does happen to everybody. Everybody loses somebody, you know what I mean? And close people, whether
Everybody
it be
dies.
Exactly, whether it be, brother, sister, father, mother, uncle, aunt, something, you know what I mean? It happens. And so, it happens to everybody. And it's something that, again, we should have an open dialogue about it, and I think it would help a lot more people. What do you think, Jay?
Oh, absolutely. Talking about it can only help. I know every time I tell a story about my dad, every time I share memory about him, it keeps his memory alive. It keeps his spark going. It keeps that that life force there. And I feel we should be able to talk about it a little bit more openly. And again, I understand why somebody would be skeptic. I myself am skeptic of a lot of things. This is just one of those things I've never really been all that skeptical about. And after my dad passed, I have
even more
conclusive
so
proof for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Nobody
Yeah.
else for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
He's
think
talked.
it should be
His voice came on this
Yes.
podcast.
motherfucker.
You
Show
know what I mean?
stealing motherfucker
Hey.
every time.
If anybody deserves it, is him. So, anyways,
Every time.
but so yeah, that's another a cool story that I wanted to bring up for tonight for Dark Fringe News. Jay,
Love some Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah, of course, who doesn't? What that brings us to, of course, our next of course segment, which is what the F Florida Man. You ready for that, Jay?
Oh shizzle.
Let's do it.
Florida man.
A Florida man.
A Florida man.
A Florida man.
Now to the town of Seffner, Florida, near Tampa, where last night the earth opened up, as it does increasingly, and this time it swallowed a 37-year-old man as he slept in his home.
A man accused of destroying a liquor store in Okaloosa County told police he was in Alice in Wonderland. Matthew Horace Jones also said a caterpillar smoking a hookah told him to do it.
A man calls 911 while Collier County Sheriff's deputies are chasing him, and he says Donald Trump, our president, is his personal friend, a close one at that.
A Lake Worth man is not too happy. He's accused of getting violent when waiters at a restaurant told him they weren't giving away free pizza.
Covering Florida this morning, a Key West man is behind bars. Investigators say he was caught with a large amount of cocaine hidden in this Cookie Monster doll.
Holy shit, man.
All right, Jay. So what do you have for us this week for What the F Florida Man?
So I can't hear the audio of the tracks that are being played in there, and I was trying to go by guess. And I
Yeah,
thought
there
I
you
was
go.
doing good by the nods that I was getting from
No,
Will, and I
no,
jumped
no.
in just a little too early.
A little
But I
late.
really made 25 seconds too early. So
Yeah, it's all good though.
here we go. What the Florida man? Florida man dumps forgotten homemade pipe bomb at car wash after a strange wife turns him in, deputies say.
Wait, whoa.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Was that live happening there?
That was a lot. That's a lot of like business there, Jay. What the fuck was going? Okay, start again
That's
from the
just-
beginning.
That's just the headline.
Oh Lord, go again, Jay.
So here's the headline. Florida man dumps forgotten homemade pipe bomb at car wash
Yeah.
after wife turns estranged wife turns him in.
Yeah.
Deputies say.
Wow, Jay. Like, okay, so let's break this down. He's got a pipe bomb in the car. He gets turned in. Wife turns him in. He gets
Strange
picked up. Estranged wife. Yeah, let's make sure we clarify that. Explain what's going on here, Jay. Give us some more background if you could.
Edgewater, Florida. A man
Ooh.
was arrested. Right,
Mhm.
Edgewater. It always happens in Volusia County.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Florida man was arrested after he left a homemade pipe bomb in a car wash trash can, according to Volusia
Mhm.
Sheriff's Office.
Mm-hmm.
Authority Anthony Ray West, a 58-year-old electrical engineer, was arrested and charged.
Wait a second. Anthony Ray West?
Anthony Ray
Sounds
West.
like a serial killer, but okay,
know.
go ahead. Yeah, I
It
know,
sounds
right?
It sounds like a character in some kind of a apocalyptic.
Right. Anthony Ray
I'm
West.
Anthony Ray West. And I'm an electrical engineer.
You're right.
If you want those gates to stay closed so those zombies
Right.
can't eat off your testicles, boy.
Right. Yeah. There it
That's
is.
just what it sounds like to me. 58-year-old electrical engineer was arrested and charged after manufacturing with an explosive device with possession of bomb-making materials. That's what the
Oh
charges were.
shit. That's serious.
The office began investigating Mr. West after his estranged wife had disclosed that he had bomb-making materials, the deputies had said. The couple was going through a divorce. Duh.
Yeah. You think?
And West allegedly left the home, their
Mhm.
home in Deltona, with duffel
Yeah.
bags of bomb-making materials.
Great.
Duffel bags.
Duffel bags. Okay.
Duffel bags.
Explosive relationship, right?
But I'm paying. Yeah, what
I
can you
know.
say? When they go boom, they go boom.
There you go, boom.
They go boom.
There you go, boom.
Well, he at least left it a car wash, so it would be easy to clean.
That's true too. Get rid of the evidence. Right?
In the head.
Yeah, thinking ahead.
In the
Yeah.
head.
Don't have to go too far.
Before he left, his wife had taken photos of all the materials, including bomb-making books, manuals. The deputies had said that they made contact with West. They made contact with Mr. West, where they searched his duffel bags and discovered the pipe bomb was missing. And that's when he told them that when he got the message from his estranged wife that she had contacted deputies. He freaked out and hid it in a car wash trash can. Now, I got to be honest.
He ratted himself, basically. If he just said nothing, he would have been fine. He would have been like, I don't know what the fuck that bitch is talking about. Yeah, talking about bomb.
You can Google those kinds of
pictures. My mom, not no bomb. You know what I'm saying?
Listen. If there's one person who would want me to go to jail, who would it be? My estranged wife. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a setup, right?
No.
No.
But the best part though.
Yes, let's hear it.
The name of the car wash.
Oh.
Car wash. Wally Wash. He lived at a place called Wally Wash on Ridgewood Avenue.
Wow. Wally Wash. I thought it was gonna be Kaboom.
No, well, that would have been better.
Yeah, that would have been way better, right?
Kaboom. You can't make that shit up.
Kaboom car wash.
It's a car wash.
It would have been good, right? It's the bomb.
It would have been good.
Yeah,
the bomb.
It's the bomb.
It's the bomb. Oh my god. We now need to open a car place called Kaboom. It's the bomb.
Kaboom. That is the greatest shit ever, Jay. We should do it. Fucking come out with a car wash. Kaboom. Let's do it. Fuck it. Oh wow. Jay, that's a great story coming out of course of Volusia County. Edgewater. I mean, so this guy got arrested. Any further details as far as what he was sentenced to or anything like that?
No, he is currently being held. This just happened.
Oh, great.
Last week.
Holy shit. Well, yeah, he's getting there for a while. He's not going to be seeing any time of daylight anytime soon. So, well, Jay, thanks for that. For What the F, Florida Man. We really appreciate it. That's a great one coming out of Edgewater, Florida. Again, you know, that Volusia County area, man, it's just a fucking... It's just
holy shit, man.
Holy shit, man. I mean, this is like that's like the petri dish of just like the shit that comes out of Florida is Volusia County, right? Yeah, it's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, all right, that's a good wrap up for our intro here for tonight. We're going to get into our main subject for tonight here in a second. Take a quick break, and we're going to be talking about the Hollywood cloning conspiracy. So make sure you take a quick break, come right back, and we'll have some more content. Dark Fringe Radio. Be right back.
In a feudal, futuristic Japanese world where eyes are big and passions deeper, an elegant yet ripped young boy finds a mech battlesuit and must mate with a cute gang of robotic pirate girls to save Earth.
Ooh, you have nice mech battlesuit.
Watch out, she's horny.
Feel the power of the animated wind. Watch Tokyo tremble as a renegade team of barely dressed mango wildcats fight robotic creatures with only a small caliber handgun and slow motion fists of fury.
Oh, the power of the wind, you whore.
The anime storytelling event of the decade. Oh, and enormous breasts.
Oh no!
Full Robo Hickey Hurry Mech Battlesuit in theaters now.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us back here at Dark Fringe Radio. Tonight, Jay, we have a interesting topic. We're going to be talking about the Hollywood cloning conspiracy. Now, this is something that has been going the rounds for some time here on social media. It's a pretty wide ranging conspiracy theory. Let me talk about it and maybe give a little bit of the intro about it, Jay, and then we can kind of talk about it and get into some examples. And, maybe give our opinions on whether this is something that should be looked into or maybe it's just complete bullshit. We don't know. Again, we just, are bringing you just the information that we find. Jay thinks it's bullshit already, but let's see. Jay, the Hollywood cloning conspiracy is an unfounded, possibly, theory that suggests that numerous celebrities, particularly those in the entertainment industry, have been cloned by powerful organizations or individuals in secret with the goal of perpetuating their influence and control over the masses. The conspiracy theory proposes that these cloned celebrities are used to manipulate public opinion, advance specific agendas, or carry out secretive activities. Cloning humans, especially to the extent portrayed in this conspiracy theory, is currently far beyond the capabilities of science and technology. Or is it? While cloning animals has been achieved in scientific settings, of course, the ethical and technical challenges of human cloning are immense and raise serious ethical questions. The conspiracy theory likely emerged due to a combination of factors, supposedly, including a fascination with celebrity culture, a distrust for powerful institutions, and a tendency for people to believe in elaborate and sensational narratives. It is important to critically evaluate this information here, Jay. That's what we're here to do. And we're here to rely, of course, on credible sources when assessing the validity of these claims. So I want to, get into it. What do you think? What's your, just off the cuff thought about what I just said? What do you feel about that?
Hokum.
What's that?
Hokum. It's Hokum.
It's Hokum. Okay. You think so, huh?
It's Hokum. Well, okay. So
let's hear this, Jay.
Also be very clear, okay? When we're talking cloning, are we talking test tube babies grown into a massive army like Boba Fett? Or are we talking cloning as in they have a doppelganger that then gets cast to play that part for the remainder of that person's life? Those are two different kinds of clones. Now, I know we've talked Paul McCartney, and I believe Avril Lavigne.
Yeah, she's another one.
Some speaks on. But if you are going to try to tell me this evening that someone has grown George Clooney in a test tube because his ass is just too good looking with the extra salt and pepper, and they need to bring that down a notch, I'm going to tell you, you are full of some caca.
All right. Okay. That's, you know what, Jay? You are completely
reasonable, lucid,
and reasonable to go to that, of course, conclusion. And that's fine.
Or 1%.
And that's right. But there are some questions that are posed when it comes to this, because
why are you talking like Captain Kirk?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I got the Captain Kirk in me tonight. That Bill Shatner, Bill is close, right? I know, it's not bad. But the thing is, there are some examples of maybe suggestive things that are maybe happening in Hollywood, Jay, that are just maybe not exactly what we think. Let me give you a quick example here. There's an R&B singer here by the name of Janelle Monáe. She has, she's very prolific in the music industry. And I want to play a clip here, Jay, as to, what she says about herself. This is not, something that somebody else said something about somebody. This is something that she says about herself. And, it's really interesting how she kind of puts it out there. So I'm going to play this real quick, and I just want you to listen to the audio, and then we'll talk about what she said. All right, Jay?
I'm all ears, bro.
It's very simple. I have a clone. I have a clone for music. I have a clone for film. I have a clone for my personal life. I have a clone for my family life as well. So that's how it gets done. And each clone is under contract.
Which one am I talking to now?
Well, if I told you that, then, life wouldn't be as fun.
Okay. So she said, if I told you that, life wouldn't be as fun. So, Jay, this is a very popular R&B singer who's come out of, just nowhere, and then come out with so many hits and has done so well for herself. And her to say this very seriously, Jay. If I could show you the video clip, I would, but she's very serious about what she's saying. She's saying that she has a clone for each aspect of her life. She has a clone for her touring. She has a clone for her personal life. She has a clone for, this and that. So, do you think that's something that could relatively be even possible in our day and age? No? So why do you think these people are saying this?
One of two things is happening here.
Okay, tell me.
Just because someone believes what they're saying doesn't mean that what they're saying makes any fucking sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, prime example. Howard Hughes. Remember Howard Hughes?
Yeah, of course.
Billionaire.
Ended up as a recluse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was very serious and sounded like he knew what he was talking about well past what he was crazy as shit. Okay? Success and talent and art and ability do not necessarily breed intelligence. And there's multiple kinds of intelligence. She can read a song. She can feel it. She can sing it in a way that you and I could just be in awe of. That being said, maybe she doesn't know exactly what she's talking about when she's talking a clone. Is she talking about body doubles? Is she talking about assistants? Or is she talking about actual things made from her cells to grow into people? We only started cloning animals, 15 years ago, max?
20 years, I think, yeah. Dolly, the
15?
Dolly,
Yeah,
the lamb.
The lamb thing
Right, yeah.
So, yes, if you can, there's a very complex animal. I believe that doing that with a human would still be a little bit more complex than our technologies are capable of doing. That'll be one hurdle you have to get past. Second hurdle you have to get past. Now you're talking that we can do it in a way that we can advance the age.
Right.
It's not like she was a baby and someone's like, oh, she's gonna be good. We're gonna make more of her now.
Right. Well, you know what, Jay? You're actually jumping ahead of something that I'm going to bring up here in a little bit, but we'll get into that. We're going to get into no, that's a good thing. No, you segued into a very big part of what we're going to be talking about here. But I wanted to give some other examples of what we're talking about here tonight. And, one in particular is Britney Spears. She's been a hot mess lately, Jay. And,
oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know. But, listen.
Leave Britney alone.
Listen, in recent years, there's been a conspiracy theory online that claims that Britney Spears has been using a body double, Jay. That idea, using a body double is not uncommon. We've been talking about
body
right?
double,
right?
Body double and clone are different things. Would I believe she uses a body double? Sure. Depending on, why not? She's Britney Spears, of course. But didn't she just swing at Joel Embiid?
Yeah, she got tapped on the head by the security guard too. And just recently, as of I think yesterday, oh boy, as of I think yesterday, her husband filed for divorce just recently. So yeah, things are not looking up for her. But this theory suggests, though, Jay, that she actually died sometime in 2009 and was replaced with a lookalike. And it gained a lot of popularity on social media when people, began pointing out apparent inconsistencies in her tattoos, her body shape on her Instagram, posts that she would put on there. And they also thought they were recycled or edited. And she hadn't been seen in public for a while until the, whole thing that we just talked about, her getting hit in the head by the security guard. But there was a time there where she wasn't seen for a while. So people were thinking that she actually passed away in 2009. And there was some crazy court document. Well, then there was a court document in 2009 that said that she had died. There was a death certificate. And nobody knows if that was real or not, but supposedly that was out there. So again, what are we talking about here, Jay? I mean,
what we're talking about is people talking about a bunch of people trying to find a way to keep a particular pop singer relevant, and they're trying to keep her relevant by throwing out.
But that's what I'm saying, Joe. I'm saying that they're doing that. So say, listen, if she died in 2009, we can't make any more money off her. Let's keep her alive. Let's make a clone of her and let's let her go, crazy.
Or more plausible. Hey, no one's talking about her. It's like she's dead. Let's say she is, and that this is a body double, and then we can continue to generate some conspiracies around her to get her name kicked back up in those things, and then she'll go and hit a basketball player in the face and act like she is actually something. Yeah, dude.
Listen.
Yeah, no, silly.
Yeah, well, listen. It's an interesting.
Not for
Britney. All right, let's move on. Kanye West, ready? Oh yeah. Let's do this. Yeah. So in November of 2022, Kanye West called out a bunch of celebrities who, were not outspoken against the Balenciaga BTS inspired ad campaign, Jay. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but Kanye would go on to say how no one in Hollywood is talking about the Balenciaga issue, and that says a lot. And if you don't know what he's referring to, he's talking about the wildly inappropriate and ad featuring little girls posing with BDSM themed teddy bears. Not to mention somehow court documents referencing child rape cases stuck in the background as well, which is very odd. Like, how the fuck would that get into the background unless you did not listen? I make videos for this podcast. I don't put anything in the background that I don't know what the fuck it is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know. So how you're going to put something like that in the background and then not know what it is, and then you have these. Listen. Anyways, so where the story takes a turn is that Kanye actually went missing for a while out of nowhere in like January. He was like gone for like nobody saw him for like a month or 2 months. Remember, there was a period there where they were like Kanye's missing, like not even his manager heard from him. They even put out like he was served with like a lawsuit for like $4.5 million, and they couldn't even serve it because they couldn't find this guy. And so then later, then you see him, he pops out of nowhere wearing Balenciaga, which he was like
to the Chula. I put rock salt in my watch.
Listen,
I like
and then
from my exes when I want. I'm sorry.
And then he's looking at like a different height. Like he looks like he's 6 foot tall. Like there's just all this crazy stuff. So there's a clip here, Jay, I wanted to play audibly. It's Orlando Brown, and I'm not sure if you remember who he is, but he's a childhood actor from the Disney Channel and Nickelodeon and all that stuff. And he grew up through the whole Hollywood system kind of thing, and he has his own theory about it as well. And I want to kind of get your opinion about what he said about this. And so give me a second here, Jay. I'm going to play that. And
Dark Hollywood exposed.
And it was revealed that they paid $1,000 for a meet and greet with Chris Brown. Some people were surprised at this, and there was some debate as to, whether people felt it was worth it or, is that a little too much?
He's the real Chris Brown. He's not allowed to get on stage. It's the only way he can make his money.
So you feel like that was like a lookalike that did that?
Do I feel like it was a lookalike in Chris Brown's body?
Okay.
No, Chris Brown is not that. It's just the same. It's the same thing with Kanye, bro. Chris Brown, that was not Chris Brown on stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not Chris Brown on stage, bro. That's not Chris.
So that wasn't Chris that did that.
Hell no, that wasn't Chris. No, that wasn't Chris that was on stage. Chris Brown is the one that's he getting paid, nigga, any way he can to see if it's gonna go over. Well, nobody knows. You guys actually realize like how there's a taller Kanye, a smaller Kanye, taller Kanye, they're fighting for who's gonna be Kanye. They're fighting for who's gonna be Kanye, dude, right in front of you. And it's like, yo, bro, leave my brother alone.
So is this like a nutty professor type of situation?
That's stupid, bro. You see Kanye 6 feet tall and then you see him small. You better catch the small. Give him a hug, man, because he been through a lot to be in that body. He was just trying to eat that day. He finally got it back, and that's what the real Kanye be in a real place, chilling.
So yeah, that's Orlando Brown talking about Kanye and Chris Brown. I mean, that's a pretty interesting take there, Jay. I mean, what's your take on that?
Well,
drugs.
I mean, he spoke so clearly,
right.
He came to very logical conclusions and gave plenty of reputable argument points. He certainly built a concrete case for no, he was a fucking babbling moron. I'm not saying there aren't conspiracies that have slivers of truth. That's the whole point of this podcast. I'm not saying that there aren't things that we should keep our eyes out for. I believe I'm a big advocate for those kinds of things. My point. Who gives a shit enough about Kanye to clone him? That's right, nobody.
Maybe some people who are in control of his money.
No.
Why not?
Here's what happened to Kanye. Kanye had the same problem that Ray J and that one basketball player, and I think Ray Bush have all run through, which is called Kim Kardashian's vagina.
Oh, That is some foul stuff, no?
Makes everybody cuckoo.
Right? Something about it.
I never saw the. Yeah, clearly she's attractive, but I never saw the crazy attraction. I certainly never saw why I would let that ruin my life and name my children and have my husband suddenly become a woman. And it's the machine. But that doesn't mean that it's a clone or it's a body double. Or it's not actually Kanye. And 6 foot, 5 foot. There's a lot of things you can do with different camera angles. And if I saw an ad today for shoes that will give you an extra 2.5 inches, which by the by, guys, I will never buy. I will never buy. I will always be 5'3". If you see me, that is how tall I is.
Right.
But even with me, people meet me on the street, and I've had people say they think I'm 5'10". I'm nowhere near 5'10". But there's a lot of conjecture. There's one Kanye. Thank God there's only one Kanye. And let's keep it
Maybe there is. Well, Jay, let's get into the scientific side of this. Okay, so you brought up a great point at the beginning of this where we talked about the cloning of animals and the difference between that and cloning of people. So I wanted to bring up one point here. There's a corporation called Clonaid, and it's a organization that is looking to, of course, make the first human clone. Yep.
The name of the company is called Clonaid?
Yeah, Clonaid. I'm not even joking. Yeah.
Clonaid.
Yeah, this is a real thing. I'm not even joking. You guys can look it up.
That was like, that should be like one of the evil things in like Despicable Me,
Right.
like,
yeah.
Welcome, we are from Clonaid.
Yeah.
It
sounds too good to be true, right? Like it was
No,
real.
I'm sure it's really the name. But
yes,
clearly whoever's naming it is having a piss. But continue.
Yes, Clonaid. So in 2002, Jay, a scientist announced that her group had produced the first cloned human being, triggered skepticism from research, condemnation from some religious groups, and a federal investigation. The 7-pound baby was born by cesarean section and will be home in 3 days, said Brigitte Brosweiler, a chemist and CEO of Clonaid, the company that did the experiment. She wouldn't say where the baby was born, but she did say the birth was at 11:55 a.m. local time. Brosweiler said that the baby, dubbed Eve by the scientist, is a clone of a 31-year-old American woman and was born outside of the United States, but wouldn't specify where. The woman donated the DNA for cloning processes, had the resulting embryo implanted, and then gestated the baby. Brosweiler said, if confirmed, that it would make the child an exact genetic duplicate of her mother, the same as an identical twin. Brosweiler, who wouldn't reveal any names, said that the mother had resorted to cloning because her husband was infertile. The baby is very healthy, she said. The parents are happy. I hope that you remember them when you talk about this baby, not like a monster, like a result of something that is or disgusting. Brosweiler did not immediately present DNA evidence showing a genetic match between the mother and daughter. Brosweiler said the results would come in within 9 days. She also said, quote unquote, you could still go back to your office and treat me as a fraud, she said. But she also said that you would have 1 week to do that. However, Brosweiler refused to say where the baby was born, identify her parents, or even provide a picture. Ethicist Jonathan Moreno is troubled by so much of today's announcement. At the top of his list are the problems seen in the animals that have been cloned so far, which makes her claims of a good health of the baby premature at best. So we have the supposed lady who came up with this company Clonaid, supposedly cloned a human with no issues whatsoever. We have another ethicist who, actually has seen the issues of cloning, animals and the issues that's come with that. Of course, side effects, of course, what we're talking about. And he's saying that this woman has been able to clone a human being with no issues at all whatsoever. So that's a lot to unpack here, Jay.
I believe that when me shit turns purple and smells like Harvard. She's coming out and claiming something.
Right?
without providing any proof
Mm-hmm.
aside from her conjecture. But it's named Eve. Oh, because you
Mhm.
couldn't make that shit up.
Right.
Okay.
You couldn't come up with a more like fucking storybook
Kind of on
name.
the nose. Kind of on the nose.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And okay, let's say,
Let's
for
say.
argument's sake, because I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure I just won that argument right there. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that this baby was cloned, is healthy, which are already two miracles,
Mm-hmm.
and is now home and growing, right? Okay. When you attach it to some of the things that we are talking about, the Kanye West,
Mm-hmm.
the Britney Spears,
Mm-hmm.
the Avril Lavigne's, the Paul from the freaking Beatles, McCartney.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no way to clone them and then have the baby grow up to be the exact same age as them. Because even in that story, it's like an identical twin, but it's an identical twin that was born 31 years later. Guess what?
It's going to be weird. It's not going to be the same, right?
No. Well, I mean, and
Or is it?
so as the science would suggest, if you want to, again, for argument's sake, from what I would understand, if she is genetically identical because she is a clone,
right?
Which would make her more like a twin, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then she will be exactly like whatever that original DNA source was, as far as the physical goes and the health goes. Now, her individual life experiences will lead to her own individual personality and consciousness. But again, when mom is 62, that's when baby will be 31. Baby will not suddenly be 31 in 2 weeks and be like, "Hi, mom."
No, of course not. Yeah, of course. That's not what they're saying.
That's where when I see the celebrity cloning. Now, if you want to have a conversation about
again, this is something that happened in 2002. So we are 21 years or 22 years later from this supposed, cloning incident. So
yeah,
I mean,
we haven't
a lot could happen.
We haven't unlocked enough of the human genome to be able to successfully clone DNA and have it be a successful full birth, to term, and have no problems. It's just not happening, man. You have healthy people who are going through those in vitro systems all the time, who are paying thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Absolutely.
And they're getting nothing.
No. Yeah.
No. If we could,
it's a crapshoot with them.
If we could clone, if that woman really was able to do what she said she had done, they would be selling it. It would be something they would offer to all the wealthy families who can't seem to have kids on their own, no matter how many injections they try. I'm telling you. It would be a gold mine. There's no way. It certainly wouldn't be a secret.
Well, Jay, reacting to this news, the Southern Baptist Convention warned of the dangers of rogue scientists, while Orthodox Jewish group cautioned against the overreaction, since there's still no proof of the cloning itself. Bosweiler said that she expects 4 more babies from North America, Europe, and 2 from Asia to be born in the next few weeks after that. This is back in 2002. 2 of the couples are using preserved cells taken from their own children before their deaths, supposedly, and 1 is a lesbian couple, she said. Bosweiler said that 20 more cloning attempts are planned for January. And you know what, Jay, this is interesting thing. There's this rapper, this guy's named Kid Blue, but he's a young guy. He's like 21, 22 years old. Came out of nowhere, but he talks about, he claims that he's a clone. He says that he's and he talks about this whole subject here in itself. Here, I'm going to play a quick clip here, Jay, so you can hear it and we can talk about it. Give me 1 second.
A friend of mine named Sophia Bridget, who's currently being faced for trial, criminalizing the act of godonizing, I think it is, which is like breaking the law of cloning someone. Wait a minute.
Wait,
so please dive into that.
So you know somebody that privately cloned another person?
Allegedly, I can't say that she.
Well, allegedly.
I can't say she did or did not because the case is still open. She's 63 years old. I've been knowing her for about 8 years now. She's a part of a movement called the Rayleigh Movement, and they're the founders of Clonade, which is what she works for. Allegedly, they say that she cloned a girl named Eve about 11 years ago, and that's what they're trying to trial her for.
So is it like a machine, or like how does that? I mean, I know it's not you, but I'm just saying you know more about it than I do.
Well, it's recreating the synthesis of DNA, so it's the exact same genetic structure as anything else would be. It's hard for people to wrap their mind around it because of consciousness and a soul, right?
Right.
So some people who don't want to see past that then are like, well, what is it? Or why not?
Interesting.
I have no. First off, I want to make sure that I'm very clear with this. My argument is not that the thing wouldn't have a consciousness or a soul. I believe the consciousness and souls are exactly what we believe they are, but I also believe that it comes with the individual spark. Once that spark is created, once that energy starts, that's what's not. Either way.
Okay. Listen,
So
I mean,
what we're saying again is that someone seeking attention to get their name out there makes money by having people say his name, is quoting a clone aid, which again, evil company in Despicable Me, because he knows people. Again, give me proof. Show me something. All right, you say it matches it synthesizes the DNA. Cool. Show me something that will show exactly how that process works. Give me a diagram. Give me something that explains exactly what you've done. Show me some double-blind tests done by your scientists to show me that it is safe and that you've done it. And then, yeah, I'll believe it. I'll believe it's possible. At some point, technology is going to surpass that. And yes, the religious people are right. Should we? No. Can we? At some point. But that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is,
I'm with you, Jay. I hear you.
We're saying
100%.
these clones are already here. It's silly. It's a bunch of attention-seeking, look at me, Louise, trying to get aggregated so they can become an influencer because there's just so much mother effing money on the internet.
Well, there's this guy, Jay, that is a whistleblower for the DOD. Didn't even post his name. He wanted no attention regarding this, and he exposed a lot of information regarding this cloning methods and what they've done. He actually references a documentary called something Brazil, Boys from Brazil or something like that. But it goes into how this cloning method is done. I want to play a quick clip here, Jay. I want you to listen. I want to get your thoughts on this here. And here we go.
If you go to Disney World, for instance, down there in the Haunted Mansion, you see the hologram, right? Oh, you know how to make a hologram. Well, our scientists have learned how to make people. They call them synthetics. Are you familiar with those?
Well, actually, we just interviewed John Lear, and he was talking about being in an audience in which they were given a lecture by a guy that they thought was real and found out later he was a hologram.
Well, it's a synthetic. A synthetics, when you touch their skin, it feels like plastic almost. That's the latest technique. The old techniques, if you guys can rent a video, The Boys from Brazil, rent it, because in it, it gives you the exact way how our government's been making people.
Really?
Yeah,
well,
and the Soviets had a different method called...
I mean, making people meaning temporary people?
No, walking, talking ones.
Meaning through genetics? You're not talking about that?
Well, let me tell you. The movie shows it, but I'll share it with you right now.
All right.
All I need to do is take 2 cells off of your body, yours.
Uh-huh.
We give them a small electrical charge. I'm just don't act like a fertilized egg. If I got a fertilized egg, all I need is a receiver in order to make it. So they were hypnotizing women, said they were being invaded by aliens. And the fetus starts growing, right? Needs food. Well, they can use cows and sheep, too. Again, a food source. That's all we need. After about 14 weeks, all of a sudden, that fetus is gone. Because they've learned to take, that's when the fetus starts developing its own blood supply. Then they've used a pituitary hormone extract that they have, which accelerates the being that grows. And the original technology was given to our government by the Greys. Now, the reason was that our scientists were all excited because we could have spare parts. If you need a heart or a liver or anything, you won't have any rejection. It's your own DNA, right?
Okay, because theoretically, if we have overpopulation, we don't need more people, right?
But the so-called elite are selecting on who they want to have around anyway, so if we want to keep people going as long as we can. I talked to the doctor that was working on regeneration of Castro, for instance.
Right.
On the DNA sequencing. And they're just learning about this.
Well, my understanding is that a lot of presidents have already been replaced.
That's right.
Yeah,
I don't think...
They're walking around, they look old, but they basically, some of the people are just
I'll just
second,
give you
third
something
copies.
I'll give you something to ponder. Get some old videos of George Bush, when he first came into office. look at the person and listen to him speak, look at his actions, and listen to his everything that's there. Now, it's a lot easier to put somebody out in front to act as a, even Bush did. He had somebody else that was up there acting like he is and look like it. Even Hitler had he had his stand. In fact, his stand-in was the one that they found in the ground over in Germany. I mean, Hitler and Eva and the dog and 14 other people got aboard a plane and flew down to Barcelona, Spain. You were aware of that. And then ended up in Antarctica or in Swabenland and then died a few years ago in Brazil.
That's what we heard. That's what we heard.
I have all the documents from our own government.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a contact. One of our
Stalin
contacts.
Stalin asked for they tried to burn the body, and he got the body back, and he said, we had different ears, and the testicles were different and everything else, so they knew it wasn't Hitler.
But is it a clone or not?
Oh, now going about cloning. Cloning techniques, since...
Yeah.
Wait.
Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Did he say that they knew it wasn't him by the testicles?
Yeah, there was no testicles. But there was an absence of testicles. There was no testicles.
Well, on the dead Hitler body?
Right, which kind of makes sense because that's what they said initially. I mean, that's what is pretty commonly known, that the body they got was a female body, supposedly, right? It wasn't a male body that supposedly is.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of questions on what happened to his body. My guess is the Russians took it. And
absolutely.
Anyways, not that I blame him. Hitler kind of double crossed them hard.
Oh yeah.
Hard.
That was hard.
That being said,
all
right.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, Jay. And I'm still not done with the clip. There's literally like another minute.
Oh, hit it.
1938, they've been making clone people. There's 8 countries making clones.
1938, he says, Jay. Let's hear this shit.
I have a doctor friend that all he does is treat the clones.
Where do you get your information?
I get it from some of the people that are willing to come forth, and they talk to me because they hope I'll put the information out because they always got 2 people following them and maybe be killed. If I start talking about cloning too much, the people that get involved into that disappear on it. So I don't go into too many more details. But there is information that's available. And more and more of that's coming on the line. I just told you, go rent the movie.
Okay, Boys from Brazil.
Yeah, and you'll see the whole technique on what they show it to you in different places. So you can imagine what's going on.
Okay, so...
No, let's go to the next step because this is the most important part.
All right.
If your physical reality that you have, based on this physical life that you have, this dream, is made up of the experiences that is impregnated on your body and in your mind, consciously, right? Mm-hmm. Your soul memory is another thing. It goes back whatever time that you elected to be in this incarnation for whatever reason. Now let's show you the division on these things. Since the body is very physical, and we just got you making a physical being in a few months for spare parts. They said, now we've got the perfect deal. How can we have that work better? Well, if you go to the hospital today and get an encephalogram, what's that? That's the memory of your conscious mind. It's on the CD. Let's download it on this being. Now we got a walking, talking duplicate that has the total memory that you have because we just took it off of your own mind.
Okay, it's like Blade Runner, the android.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Blade Runner, Jay. Blade Runner.
I'm thinking Fallout 4.
Fallout 4? Okay.
The whole basis of the game is maybe you're an android. How would you know? What's your earliest memory?
That's true. Yeah.
The only thing is that it's like this DVD recorder. Sometimes you have glitches in it, so you have to have them tuned up occasionally or redone. And so we take them to Camp David, or there's a wing at Bethesda Hospital to just tell you. If you go down there and check, you'll find the nurses, if they're willing to come forth, they'll tell you they work on those people, and they call them the others. I thought it was interesting. They're people. Remember, these people can think and act, but they don't have soul. That's also prophesized.
Right,
Soulless
that's
beings.
true. That's true.
Now we have another agenda that's going on, so you have to be careful of all this. There are many extraterrestrials that would like to be in on the game right now, so they can sometimes will come into these physical beings that we've made to manipulate them.
I see.
So now you have a combination effort that you have to look at, and discernment. Mm-hmm. You have to discern what the game is. Well, just figure that most of the leaders we have in the world have been bought and paid for or created to think a certain way.
Yeah. Well, Jay?
Oh, is he done?
Oh, he's done. That was a lot. Holy shit, bro.
All right. Well, let's first start off with never, ever, ever tell that guy any fucking secrets.
Right. That guy's gonna give you everything.
Dude, snitches get stitches.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Holy shnikes. You're walking around talking about, these
if he's right, he told the whole story, right?
They tell me what happens, but they've got people following them. They could die, but I'm gonna go ahead and on the radio and stay in the meniness, and you won't know who I am, so I cannot be me. Oh,
yeah.
No, man, come on. He's clearly spouting crazy. And what allows you to know that he's crazy is he's trying to weave the narrative through every single conspiracy theory that has ever been possibly talked about since 1915. I have a 1984 Ford Mustang that if when I'm starting it, I put my foot too far down on the accelerator, it won't start. And I have to let it sit there because I flooded the carburetor. There's no mother friggin' way. In 1938, we're making plastics, synthesized human beings that can take over our lives. That's not happening.
Yeah,
you want to tell me you've got a doppelganger, you've got a lookalike that people are paying? Celebrities have done that. It's been proven. Gallagher actually was sued over sending out his brother who kind of looked enough like him. Jose Canseco was famous for having his brother go to boxing matches as himself. Right.
Ozzy Canseco. Look just like him.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
Body doubles get paid to be those. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes maybe there is a 6 foot tall Kanye, and you know what he's called? He's called body double. Sure, but he's not a clone. And what this guy is clearly talking about is everywhere. Now, I will do my due diligence, even though I hate when people are do your own research. And I will watch this documentary. But here's the thing I know, because I went to school to do these things. And we're not going to talk about the fact that I couldn't figure out which jack to put to plug in my headphones earlier. But I've seen a lot of editing tricks, and I've seen things be put together in such a way that you can manipulate edited film. You can edit things out, and with today's technologies, you can make a whole lot of things look like they aren't there, that were there, or weren't there when they were there. But we still don't have the technology to synthesize human beings. It's just not there. We ain't got it, even today.
It's interesting to conceive that thought, to say, hey, is that possible? Most rational people like you and I, Jay, would say no. Right?
At some point, it will be. Technology is going to get us there if humanity survives long enough.
Of course.
But again, and then that raises the question: just because we can, should we? I agree with a lot of the religious people that there's no reason.
Talk about that all the time.
Even when you're talking about like having spare parts, man. Hey, listen, I don't want to ever die. Right? Having a heart attack is like my biggest friggin' fear. My brother had one at 36, and I've been scared ever since. Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, have an extra one of my hearts kicking around, be awesome. But no.
Yeah, I get it. Well, listen, it's a great, conspiracy theory. It's something.
Interesting topic.
It's an interesting topic for just talking sake, but it's something that, hey, maybe 50 years from now we look back on this discussion and we're like, were we wrong? Were we right? Who knows? You know what I mean? It'd be interesting to be able to go forward in time and see and look back and say, oh, those guys were on to something.
I'll have my clone call your synth.
Hey, your clone needs to call my clone. And then we can do something, all right? How's that sound?
Have your AI call my AI.
And we'll do something. Well, yeah, there you go. Well, listen, Jay, that's a good wrap up for tonight, I think, for the Hollywood cloning conspiracy. Jay, I wanted to just remind everybody where they can listen to the podcast, darkfringeradio.com. That's where the main source of everything is. Dark Fringe Radio. Make sure you go there and check out our merch. Our merch is there. Buy some stuff. We're going to be doing a summer blowout here. It's going to be pretty wild, but check it out, darkfringeradio.com. Jay, anything else before we say goodnight to everyone?
Try the water, Dave. It's really real.
It's really real. All right, Jay. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for all your support again on Facebook, and please go into all their social media as well, Instagram, and of course now X, formerly known as Twitter, at Dark Fringe Radio. So again, I am Will Martinez and my co-host Jay Galosi. We will see you guys again next week on another edition and episode of Dark Fringe Radio.